Good evening, Jean. Good evening, Dean Ebanks. Good to see you both. Or
Oh, greetings, my brother from another mother.
hope all is
My
well.
sisters. Yes, yes, yes. All the best.
So just to let you know, we are streaming live on Facebook, even though we haven't quite started yet.
Awesome.
So we're just gonna start now. Here we go.
Fresh FM Radio London and the Wayne Hall Show in collaboration. Hurricane Melissa Impact Support, Recover Rebuild Renewal. And supported by Fit FM 96.7 Jamaica. Linkage Radio 101.5 FM New York. Clark TV Network. EnergyRadio1.com. IslandWorldwide.com. Hype FM Radio. Windrush Anchor Heritage Education Program. TAPTAP Send UK Jamaica. RAFFA International Development Agency. JLB International Shipping and Logistics.
Good evening, good morning, and welcome everyone. We're really pleased to introduce our first Hurricane Melissa Impact Support, where we're using the global networks. I'm really pleased that we're going to have some videos and some dialogues on what's going on the ground. And in fact, I'm going to start with, let me just introduce who's online first of all. So we've got Jean Brown from Negril Education Environmental Trust, right down there, Westmoreland, Jean. Okay, you're on mute. Angela Clark from RAFFA International Development Agency. Bev Johnson from JLB Shipping and Logistics. Both Bev and Angela are in London, and we're going to hear a bit more about what they've been doing in terms of support. Jean Brown and Dean Ebanks, my good friend and brother from Kingston, who again has been doing a lot of work. We're going to hear from him. We are expecting other people to join us. We'll be showing some footage as well, just to give everybody a sense of what's going on. So what we're going to do, Jean,
Yes.
we're going to start with you. First of all, tell us about who NEET are, what do they do, and the contribution that both NEET and of course Travelers Rest Hotel is significant in the local community. And then we'll talk about what you're doing in relation to the Hurricane Melissa hurricane impact.
Okay. Good evening again. I've been waiting for a long time. I know the time difference, so I almost fell asleep waiting. But nonetheless, it's indeed an honor to be here. I'm really happy to have this opportunity representing the Negril Education Environment Trust. NEET is a non-profit nor not-for-profit non-governmental organization that has been on the ground for almost 24 years, operating out from Travelers Beach Resort Hotel, because the organization actually came into existence through Travelers, the individual who actually started this hotel, Mr. Winston Wellington. His sons now really take over the management and the running of the hotel. So NEET is like their not-for-profit arm. As we said, it's an educational and an environmental organization. We work with schools across Hanover and Westmoreland because Negril goes across those two parishes. We work with both primary and high school students, where the focus is on enabling these children to be more literate. So there is an emphasis on reading, mathematics, science. We also include the parents in the training of the children. So there are sessions with the parents and the children. The parents have to come to the training sessions. There are general sessions where both parents and their child are involved in. And then there is a break where we separate the children from the parents. The parents go and work with guidance counselors while we, the educators, work with the children. And it's not just the academical aspect of it. We also train them in community development. How do you give back? Because even though this is a rounded program, we don't really charge. We get a lot of support from persons like Mr. Page, who is a very close friend of Mr. Wellington's, and various organizations and individuals who will come and give the type of assistance. So we don't really charge for the parents or their children to be involved. After approximately 10 to 12 weeks of training, there is an awesome graduation, and both parents and their children are graduated. I must mention one parent after graduation. She was so emotional. She said that this was her first graduation. She never graduated from primary, high school, or any institution. She framed her certificate and hung it in her house so everybody can see that she has graduated.
Good.
That's the type of impact that the program has.
Yeah.
Community, we are into eat what you grow what you eat, you know, ensuring that the environment is really properly cared for. Take them out on the water, so they see that when we teach that there's a ridge to reef aspect of environmental development, where whatever you do on land will either positively or negatively impact your marine environment. And Negril is a marine environment, so it's important that we, let the students and their parents be aware of this. NEET has been widening the scope of development of both the children and their parents. They go on several trips abroad, to particularly Disney Epcot, because it's an educational tour that we take them on. And just recently, we took a set of students and the teachers to Japan, where we were invited by the Tottori Prefecture to participate in the Expo 2025 and to perform on Jamaica's Independence Day there. That was awesome. That's kind of what we are about in a nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Jean, now let's move to what's going on the ground in your area and the community.
Well, as far as the hurricane is concerned, boy, the videos are not enough. You will have to come and see for yourselves. But I just want to talk about it from the perspective of the children.
Yeah.
One student, when I spoke with him, I'm sorry. That's not a problem. Excuse me 1 second. The student said, Miss, and this is I think he was 10 years old. The only way I can describe this thing was that it was a horrible nightmare. Another one was so traumatized. Whenever it starts raining again, and we have been getting heavy rains, the person, the child just get, nervous.
Mm.
Everything is coming back to memory, and the heavy rains and the wind, got to her, and we have to be calming them down. Some are really stressed because of not being able to go to school. They would have just started school in September, getting into the second month, and then this, and they can't go back to school. So they're really troubled about it. We have to be saying to them, okay, it's not your fault. So we do not want for you to become saddened. It's not your fault. And you're not the only one who is out of school.
Mm.
All the students in the schools in Westmoreland that have been impacted, they're your peers, your age group, and they too can't go. So we're trying our best. We're working with your teachers to see what can be done. There was one little girl. She was with her grandmother when the storm, the hurricane hit, and she said, "Miss, I was so sad because I didn't know what was happening to my mom and my other siblings." So the level of trauma comes from different angles, and so we have the responsibility to really meet. I was able to take some students, children, teens, young adults, and adults out of Westmoreland for a psychosocial event that my church put on that made a world of difference. They were able to express themselves. They spoke about what transpired, how they felt, and they were so happy to be out of the environment, even for a day.
Mhm.
So for us at NEET, what we have been doing, working in collaboration with Travelers Beach Resort. Well, several of the employees of excuse me, what's wrong with me, Mr. Page? Did you send some cold from England?
It looks like it. Do you want to go and get some water and come back?
Let me just finish this point.
Okay.
I don't want to forget it. So several of the employees here at Travelers, because I'm at Travelers as we're speaking here. They lost their roofs, some lost their entire home. Everything was destroyed. And so what Travelers has been doing, well, they had launched a GoFundMe, and they are now using those funds to re-roof and reconstruct some of the homes of their employees that have been damaged, and then they move on to the NEET group to give that assistance to some of our parents who have lost their homes. They have reached out with I don't know how many, but boy, it could be over 100 plus care packages. And you're talking about food consisting of flour, sugar, rice, oil, tinned meat, toiletries, diapers for babies, because this thing affects every individual, whatever your age range is, you are included. Items of clothing, because so many persons have lost everything in their homes. And when we say everything, we mean everything. The children, they don't have their electronic devices that they would normally be using in school. And then as a result of that, we can't even do online classes, because besides the fact that we do not have internet connectivity in all these homes, there is no device because the devices would have been waterlogged. I remember one of the schools that we work with in Westmoreland, well, we work with all the schools, but this particular one, Godfrey Stewart High School is one of the hurricane shelters. And some students from the school were actually sheltering at the school. And one parent said to one of our NEET teachers who works at Godfrey, "Sir, when I went back home, the place that was my home, the only thing I found was the foot, one bed foot.
Okay.
Everything was gone." That's the type of experience that these folks are having. That is one of the reasons why we have so many persons still in some of these schools. And even though we have been going back to school, it's an unusual experience, Mr. Page, because the schools are the hurricane shelters, and we still have persons sheltering in the schools while school is back in session.
Right.
So they would have lost books. So what I see one school doing now, because we have internal exams and we also have external exams for the older students in high school, those students have to return to school.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's challenging because they would not have, nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody, most schools are not back in session with their normal uniforms because everything blew away.
Mm-hmm.
So we accept them as they are.
Yeah, of course.
It's not the items of clothing that will make them learn or not learn.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. When we go out to give care packages, it's not only the food item, but the items of clothing, things like insect repellent, because I don't know where the mosquitoes come from, Mr. Page, but they came down in swarms.
Yeah.
So you have little babes and older children and the adults. If we are having a challenge with them, you can imagine the little ones. So insect repellent, it's very, very important. We went into Petersfield High, which is one of the main hurricane shelters here in Westmoreland. They currently in that high school have 185 persons sheltering. More than 90% of them have lost everything. And whereas in some shelters, people are going back, trying to put the pieces together, even taking up, the broken wood and board and stuff and try to frame something out. These don't have the capacity to do that. So they're still in the school. So Petersfield is one of the schools that can't go back to regular school like how others are trying to. But the children, they would have had a real traumatic experience.
Yeah.
They had never seen anything like, well, we have never seen anything like this as adults, much more, the children. But they're coming back, they're bouncing back because, they are now meeting up with their peers and they're talking, and some who have connectivity. I was listening to two of them yesterday. I was kind of eavesdropping. I hear one saying, "I just want something to do. I want something to do. I'm bored. I just need to do something." And because they don't all have their devices, that is a challenge. But I think there are good things coming out of that as well, because they're now learning how to exist without being so dependent on their devices. And so I think in the future they'll know how to balance, more than several years ago. We had to suspend classes at NEET because our building lost its roof or resource center. Roof went, only one little section is still covered completely, and we kind of store our stuff there. But we have taken the decision to suspend the cohort that we started working with in September. And the rationale is that the students have gone through this great traumatic experience. They're not back in regular school per se. Some parents are out of a job because the hotel or business that they were working, the hotels are closed down, that they might have been employed to, or if they were self-employed, their business place would have been completely destroyed and things like that. So, to find the funds to leave maybe sections in Hanover to come into Negril for class might be challenging at this time. So we took the decision that we will be working with the same cohort, but we'll start them over in January, when school should be going back into normalcy as best as we can.
Okay. Just before you go on, Jean, that we have got a fundraising concert taking place in January specifically for NEET school. And that's from the Monstrasian community led by Dr. Gertrude Schott, because this year they're actually celebrating the 30th anniversary of the volcano. But they had a crisis, and they said that the Jamaican community helped them a lot. So their theme is Jamaica We Care, we are our brother's keeper. So yeah, and that is in support of NEET, because again, it's young people. There's a school in Montserrat called KPS, or was a primary school, Kinsale Primary School. And they did a lot of outreach, and they actually have written a book of poems from the young people, and that has been translated into a lot of community development work, all of that space related activities that you've seen coming from us. And I think that just from what you've said, those young people would also benefit from writing down the experience, turn it into poetry, into songs. And then we have that published and promoted. I think that's really important as part of the trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that idea. That's something we can actually work on when we get back our cohort of students.
I will do a personal introduction for you and Dr. Schott to speak. She's led that. She's a leading one of the leading Caribbean intellectuals, is from Montserrat when it comes to education and young people. And she's written a lot of publications as it relates to the lived experience of children and young people and their trauma, and then turn it into creative assets like poetry, song, dance, and things like that. And then what we've done now, we started to turn that into, okay, how can you get involved in your neighborhood? What are the issues in your neighborhood, in your local communities? Which aligns perfectly with NEET, of course, being an environmental trust. So so we will talk about that. I'd just like to, we will come back to you to talk about more of what you're doing. Give you a chance to clear your throat.
Get my water, yes.
Get your water. Just like to introduce Sir Wayne Hall from Atlanta. Good evening, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Good evening from Atlanta. It's good to be here. I just want to say hello to everyone with you there, Rudy. Shout out to you, Rudy, and Fresh FM Radio London, one of the platforms that has partnered with the Wayne Hall Show here in Atlanta. I just want to let the audience know I've been promoting that we're going to be simulcasting tonight, historically. And so we've tapped into your presentation, and I want the audience to know, here is Mr. Rudy Page. And Rudy, I just want to say a big shout out to all my listeners. So you know you're reaching listeners on Linkage 101.7 in New York, Hype FM in South Florida. We have Clark TV Network. And we also have Island Worldwide Radio, Reggae Vibes Radio, Yard Flow TV, Energy Radio 1, .com. We got viewers from You Choose Radio as well joining us. We have, of course, obviously Fresh FM Radio and Fit FM 96.7. We'll be hearing all your conversations, not tonight, not live, but in the replay later in the week. So I want to say a big shout out. And also we have viewers on TikTok, 2 Facebook live pages, and YouTube. So it's good to be here, ladies and gentlemen. What am I missing, Sir Rudy? I'm not seeing. Okay.
Right. Okay. Let me just send you this little message here.
Fresh FM Radio London and the Wayne Hall Show in collaboration. Hurricane Melissa Impact Support, Recover Rebuild Renewal. And supported by Fit FM 96.7 Jamaica. Linkage Radio 101.5 FM New York. Clark TV Network. EnergyRadio1.com. IslandWorldwide.com. Hype FM Radio. Windrush Anchor Heritage Education Program. TAPTAP Send UK Jamaica. RAFFA International Development Agency. JLB International Shipping and Logistics.
We're not able to see if there was a video, Rudy, but
No,
we heard the audio loud and clear, and we're good.
Just the audio, but we're going to see a bit of video now. Wayne, we're going to move over to Angela Clark.
Okay.
So Angela Clark is the Chief Executive of RAFFA International Development Agency. Good to see you, Angela.
Angela, if you don't mind, just because when we tuned in, the audience was hearing Miss Jean Brown, and I'm sure they're wondering who she is. If you could just tell us real quickly who you are, Miss Brown, and what you were talking about, and then we'll go get the flow into this
back to Angela. Okay, Jean, so you can give us a snapshot again. Intro.
Okay.
Who NEET are and what you're doing.
Sorry. I don't know what's happening. It looks like Mr. Page has said some of his British cold messing up my throat. I was perfect. I was perfect all day.
Envy and jealous. That's what it is.
All day. Okay, so I'm Jean Brown, and I'm a master teacher with the Negril Education Environment Trust. So we work with students, both primary and high school students, across Negril. And Negril runs across 2 parishes in Jamaica. It runs across Hanover and Westmoreland. Our focus is on getting students to become more literate. So there's a heavy focus on literacy, mathematics, and science.
Awesome.
What is unique about the program, excuse me, is that the parents must come with the children to the classes.
Okay.
When they come, we usually do a general session with them. Say we're doing a session on eat what you grow and grow what you eat. So they learn everything about backyard gardening, why, it can be of economical value, and you don't have to go to the market to buy everything because you'd have been producing some of your foods that you eat. So both parents and child would be in that session.
Good.
Then there would be a break where we separate the parents. They go to guidance counselors to work with them, because parenting is not really easy for a lot of persons. So they will learn about their own value and what they want their children to focus on, and how they can actually help their children. One of the things I like to talk about with them at NEET is that do remember that we don't really sell spare parts for children. So you can go and break them up and expect to buy some spare parts. And these sessions have been helping these parents,
Yeah, I like that.
While they're in their sessions, the educators work with the children in improving their reading skills, their math skills, and their exposure to science and environmental education. because it's the focus is not only on the academics, it's also on children learning to give back. There are persons pouring into you, so you learn to give back, and that helps community development.
Yeah.
And another important aspect of the program is that we work very close with police. So the police will come in and train them in fighting crime through education. So you don't have to go there, pull a gun, do face to face. You use education to fight crime. Those sessions are just awesome. These would be the general sessions where both parents and children are involved in. There is two major principles on which the organization operates. Firstly, there is what we refer to as the 4 pillars of success. And when Mr. Winston Wellington started the program, he said that these principles assisted him in growing, becoming an astute business person and a successful entrepreneur. So one, punctuality. That's one of the first pillar, punctuality. Then the second is honesty. And we really use it to help to groom the children in positive ways in their schools. So you must be punctual for classes, and you must embrace honesty. It might not appear to be, but it still is the best policy. Then you must have a passion for, after you become punctual, then you don't leave it there. So you're punctual, you're being honest, you must have good attitude, because your attitude can make or break you. So you have good attitude. And then the final of the 4 pillars is discipline. And we train them at NEET that discipline is not your mother beating you or anything like that. So both parents and children are learning discipline as something that is innate. It comes out of here. And we always use Mr. Wellington's son, Winthrop, who is a marathon runner, to say, if you're up in the grill at 4 a.m. any day of the week, you'll see him running, training. And nobody has to wake him up to say, oh, I have a meet next week, so I have to. No. It's a part of being disciplined. So we say, you want to be successful in school, you must be punctual, you must be honest, have good attitude, and you must be disciplined. Your mom doesn't have to wake you up every day to say, it's school time. Right. You must be so disciplined that you are getting up, you are looking, you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. The second principle is called the 4 P's. He says you must have a passion for something. And when you're passionate about it, you're going to be practicing it. So we always use teachers. Students want to be a teacher. You find that child teaching all the dolls that she have, or they don't have any doll. They go outside and they're teaching all the trees. Student wants to be a nurse. He or she will find needles and injecting the plants and so on. They're practicing. And after so that's the second P, practice. And then the third P, so passion, practice, prayer becomes an important aspect of our training, which we really train them to pray about things. And so you don't just put away the spiritual, because what some persons have forgotten is that human beings are really tripartite, body, soul, spirit. So there is a God conscious part of you, and you might perceive God differently from the next individual, but connecting with that supreme being through prayer is of importance. And then the fourth of the P's is patience. So you patiently wait. You're praying and you're patiently waiting, and you're putting all the other things into practice. And we teach them that when you go out and practice that, being successful is not going to be some, thing that you can't achieve. You will achieve it when you practice positive things.
Okay, Dean.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that helps us come full circle, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, and thank you for being patient, Miss Clark.
Okay, so we're now going to go over to Angela Clark, CEO of RAFFA.
Good evening, Rudy. Thank you very much for inviting me. And good evening to everyone else on the platform. My name is Angela Clark, and I am, as Rudy has already explained, the Chief Executive Officer of RAFFA International Development Agency. RAFFA is the charity arm of the Technical Prophecy and has been in existence for 19 years. We were incorporated in 2006.
Okay, Pastor, and this is our storage place. So far, we have
right. So what Rudy is showing is the
left yet. So
the storage space that
load that as well.
That JLB Shipping has.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Has acquired for us to store our goods. So what RAFFA does, RAFFA responds to disasters, but it does more than that. It raises awareness about issues that affect communities. It affects those who are marginalized. It raises awareness about inequalities, but also looks at solutions to those things as well. So something like the Hurricane Melissa is something that we would definitely respond to and work with Jamaica to rebuild and to help to address those issues. With regards to RAFFA itself, it works across we've supported countries across the world. With regards to Jamaica specifically, I was only in Jamaica in September, where we collaborated with another organization, Angel Foundation, to actually bring IT suites to some of the schools, because we've supported those initiatives for the children in the schools. So it's obviously very disappointing to see what's happened to those schools only a couple of months after we actually sent those goods there. Yeah. But it's really good to see, let me say, the collaboration of what we're seeing as a result of what's happened. And I'm sure that throughout the program we'll be discussing what specifically is happening and the things that are being done.
Thank you very much for that, Angela.
No problem.
Now I'd like to introduce Bev Johnson, who's the CEO of JLB International Shipping and Logistics. Bev, pleased that you've been able to join us.
I am. Good morning, everyone. It's not good evening, Angela. It's good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning. I'm Beverly Johnson, the owner of JLB. The owner of JLB International Shipping Limited. We have been in existence since 1989. We have offices in Kingston, Montego Bay, Toronto, Canada, Trinidad, and the United Kingdom. We've always responded to these natural disasters that impacts our region, so it is not new to us, whether it's hurricanes, storms, volcanic eruptions, we respond. And so with Hurricane Melissa, it would not have been different, especially because I'm a born Jamaican. And so that made it so much more closer to home that here in the United Kingdom, I would need to mobilize the diasporan community and friends of the diaspora to respond to the needs of our Jamaican people. And they have responded very, very well. I can report that we have already shipped 6 containers, 6 40-foot containers to Jamaica. The first one arrived yesterday, December the 3rd. And we are working closely. We work closely with Food for the Poor, JLB UK, and the JN Group are the donor-related agencies in the United Kingdom for Food for the Poor. So our consignments that we have gotten from the general public, businesses and stakeholders, have all been shipped to Food for the Poor, Jamaica. We also work very closely, as I'm a member of the Church of God of Prophecy, but I'm also a member of the West Midland Faith in Action group. So we work closely with all of the church organizations. So we're also mobilizing shipments through Operation Save Jamaica, of which I'm a director, to facilitate the movement of those shipments that the church are sending to their churches in Jamaica for not just their members, but for their communities. And so we should be doing a container with RAFFA for the Church of God of Prophecy next Thursday. Will be the first church consignment that will be moving out. We are also working with Ruach Church and the New Testament Church of God. What I'd like to say is that it's been amazing, the immediate response of the volunteers.
Yes, sir.
We have shipped 6 containers consisting of 82,000 kilos of items that persons' hearts have just moved to compassion, and they've just gone out and brought things into a Birmingham facility. And we have just been packing goods with our volunteers,
How many
mobilizing.
volunteers, Bev, have supported?
Wow, we have
those
had,
6
I would
containers?
say, each container, well, the structure really, Rudy, is first the volunteers come in. So on a daily basis, we could get up to 30 volunteers in the warehouse. We operate a 6,000 square foot warehouse. And it's running simultaneously with my business at the same time. But the concentration has been on getting the items that have been donated properly checked to make sure that we're not getting expired goods or items that are unsuitable for any person's use. So that's one of the biggest issues that we have had to manage before we can load containers for export. So the volunteers have done a remarkable work in just simply trying to isolate what's waste, I would call it, and what is worthy of shipping. And we have done that successfully. So having removed all the waste from the consignments, we have been able to ship, like I said, 82,000 kilos in 6 containers. 4 of those containers came out of our Birmingham location, and 2 of the containers came out of our London location. I would just like to say a big thank you to the Jamaica National Group, who we're partnered with, Cleone Foods, who we're partnered with, and the Legacy Center of Excellence. They have been receival points. So in addition to our 6,000 square foot of space, we have used other depots. So we got shipments from right across the UK. You can think of a place in the UK, we had shipments coming from there that we have shipped. We still have a lot of items in our warehouse, which we're hoping to mobilize some additional funds to send another 2 or 3 containers. And this needs to go on sale.
That looks like you there, directing everybody.
Yes.
So is this your Birmingham location?
That's my Birmingham location, that is correct.
Right.
Yes.
See the container, you can see everything, the evidence of what you're saying is absolutely there. Great work. So, was this the most recent container?
I'm not sure which video you're looking at, but it's really just a good guide as to what each container operation would look like. But everything we do, as I say, we go through it, we separate them. We have to do proper documentation in order for Food for the Poor to be able to clear those consignments quickly through the customs system. What is beautiful about that relationship is that presently the Port of Kingston and the Port of Montego Bay is backlogged, but as a result of the relationship that Food for the Poor has with the Jamaica Customs, these containers do not remain at the port. Once they arrive, they're moved to Food for the Poor site, and they're offloaded with the inspection of Customs Authority at the Food for the Poor site. So we get away from the port congestion using Food for the Poor.
Okay.
When we use organizations like other charities that are not as established as Food for the Poor or the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, or the Red Cross, those consignments will get some delays in the port because they have to go through the clearance process in the
we
ports.
hope they all get there because all shipments are valuable, of course.
They are. Yeah. And so you have to get specialized approval, which is why not only is arranging the shipments important, but ensuring that the documentation flow corresponds with the actual shipment. Because we have to recognize that we are a high-risk country, and so we don't want anything that is undeclared in those consignments. So, you know, the sterility of what we're shipping is great, but the response has been good. We have a lot of food stuff. We have a lot of tarpaulins. The military has given us a lot of tents. We have a lot of solar systems coming in. The consignments really, we have a lot of sanitary hygiene care for women, for children. A school has given us a lot of young children between the ages of 3 to 12 years old, their jerseys, brand new jerseys. And I'd love for them to be able to reach individual schools based on the name of the schools and the colors. So one school get one set, another school get another set, and another school. So it would look so uniform for them to use those, especially because Ms. Brown just mentioned that there now many don't have their uniforms. They would be looking so bright and chirpy.
We can link you direct with Miss Brown. Well, I'd just like to move back to Wayne now. Wayne, based on what you've heard both Angela and Bev share with us, have you got any points you'd like to make? Questions?
Actually, I commend both organization, both the shipping company, Miss Johnson, and our shipping business, and Miss Clark on RAFFA, on what you're doing combined, and that you also collaborate, which is so important right now, which makes me curious. Let me start with RAFFA. I know Food of the Poor handles it once you get it there, Miss Johnson, right? So
that is
you just
correct.
make sure it's and you're done with it. You're not. They're a trusted organization. It will get where it needs to get to. But how does RAFFA impact on the ground? What does that look like for those of us who are curious?
Okay, so with RAFFA, because we're the charity arm of the Church of God of Prophecy, we link with the church in Jamaica. And again, Beverly is very instrumental in that too, because they have identified a place that we can actually take the goods to. So once it gets to Jamaica, it will go and be placed at the Church of God of Prophecy premises at Old Harbour. So so Beverly, with her expertise, she will support that process.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wayne, what is important to note is that the uniqueness of both types of shipments coming in, the ones that are coming in for Food for the Poor, we have very little control as to the individuals who will receive it. But what we do know is that we have asked, and they have assured us, that the 7 parishes that have been impacted by the hurricane will get those items, and they have been working with the JDF to airdrop items into the areas that we don't have vehicular access.
That's good.
The situation with the shipments coming from RAFFA and the other churches is that we are sending those directly to the church, and they will then do their individual distributions to identified persons and communities. So the ones coming through the churches will arrange, once we deliver those containers, they will arrange their own volunteer, their own transport distribution network to get the items into the, as we would say in Jamaica parlance, the nooks and cranny of the island that persons are not getting access to. And that's what we have earmarked the church shipments for. I will be on the ground in Jamaica when the first container for Church of God of Prophecy arrives, so that I get a sense that they understand what is required. I have been in shipping for the last 45 years. I train the Jamaica Customs. I teach shipping across the English-speaking Caribbean. I teach Jam Pro training programs. So I am known as Jamaica's logistician. I ran Air Jamaica cargo operations worldwide back in the
Okay.
days.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
so
an interview on its own with Beverly
Yes.
Johnson.
I'll need to reach out.
I'll connect you both. Right?
Yes, sir. Please
thank you.
do.
So this
Yeah.
is something that I do, as I said earlier in my open statement, regardless of where in the Caribbean there is a natural disaster, JLB Shipping will respond, and we have done so for many, many years since our existence.
Yeah. Got a proven track record of achievement, as we say.
Thank you.
Very much so.
Okay, so just due to time, so Dean Ebanks, would like to say a few words, just in terms of from a Kingston perspective. And Lester Lewis, thank you for joining us. So Dean is quiet, so we will wait for Dean to come back on. I think what I'd like to do once again is just to remind everybody of the collaboration that is taking place and the people who are supporting this, because obviously communication is very important. So we're really pleased that we've got so many platforms working together.
Fresh FM Radio London and the Wayne Hall Show in collaboration. Hurricane Melissa Impact Support, Recover Rebuild Renewal. And supported by FIT FM 96.7 Jamaica. Linkage Radio 101.5 FM New York. Clark TV Network. EnergyRadio1.com. IslandWorldwide.com. Hype FM Radio. Windrush Anchor Heritage Education Program. TAPTAP Send UK Jamaica. RAFFA International Development Agency. JLB International Shipping and Logistics. Send money to Jamaica with TAPTAP Send. Direct to bank account or cash pickup from VM Money Transfer Service island-wide. Easy, fast, secure with no transfer fees. TAPTAP Send. Empowering families, improving lives between the UK and Jamaica. Download our app today and use promo code JAMWIN for a free £10 bonus on your first transfer.
Right. I think it's time to go back to Jean, unless you've got something to say, Wayne or Angela. So yes.
No, I'm good, Rudy. The information we're getting here is more, like what Jean has to share from being on the ground down there. To me, is a whole lot more important than anything I have as of now. So
okay, so we're going into the last 9 minutes or so for this show. So, and then we will be handing back to you, Wayne, to carry on your usual broadcast.
Okay.
Can I just quickly say, JLB Shipping is cutting off for this first tranche of donations on December the 12th, but then we resume the collection of items the second week of January 2026. What we want to do, however, to be very specific as to the items that are really needed in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So if I could just ask Jean just to share also, in addition to the general items, what items are you seeking for the students so that we can mobilize the community to just give exactly what's needed? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Bev. That's really helpful. over to you, Jean.
Okay, thank you again. So specifically, they can get tablets, laptops. These are their learning devices that have been damaged. They are not able, notebooks, because everything paper got destroyed.
Okay.
So notebooks, pens, pencils, as long as it is school supplies, the need for it is there. One of the things that they told us at the Petersfield Center, and I didn't mention this page, that of that 185 persons at that shelter, 70 are children.
Yeah,
three of whom were born during the storm.
Oh, wow.
So we have 3 newborn right there at the Petersfield Center.
Mm.
So anything that, you know, storybooks, colorful things that, you know, will take their minds off transpired, will be of help, along with the items of clothing that they do need at this time.
Thank you, Paula.
Pardon?
No, go ahead.
Oh, we can't forget that the teachers have been impacted also. Several teachers have lost their homes, and they have not saved anything. I remember going to see the principal of Revival Primary, no, St. Paul's Primary, one of the schools that NEET works with. She lost the roof. Her roof fell off, right off. And so everything, including a laptop that she had just been given by the Great Chief organization that was helping her well, became water soaked, no good. So, you know, things like these, while we are thinking about the children, but the teachers have to go back and put out, you know, their best so that the students, you know, can really get into this space where they are now thinking and they're not really concentrating on the what took place. They're now coming back into like a learning mode, but the teachers have to play an important role while they too are struggling. So these are some of the things.
So Jean, can I ask you, which it kind of relates to Bev's question?
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about who takes care of the shepherds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so what kind of support are teachers needing in order for them to carry out, you know, that necessary task?
One of the things that I know that teachers really, and I think that, you know, maybe from the ministry's perspective, but of course, not just at the local level, is some psychosocial activities.
Okay.
You know, get them. We might not be able to get everybody together face to face, but sessions like these where they can come on, they can participate, they can share, they can express.
We can certainly do that. Set up a series of online dialogues, and what we would do, as I alluded to at the beginning, we would then record those and turn those stories into tangible cultural projects.
Yes.
And that lived experience is so important. And what we can also do, and we'll do this in collaboration with yourselves as well as Wayne, of course, and the others, is that we've got members of the Monstrasian community who lived through the volcano disaster and again overnight had to leave Montserrat and come to the UK. Most of them, some went to Antigua, some went to the US, but the majority, because of the relationship with the UK, is still an overseas territory. So again, you can imagine that displacement, what that meant for education, families, the trauma for elder people. Some people didn't really live as long as they may have lived if they had stayed in Montserrat because of losing everything. And so that over the 30 years is still a serious impact. So I think there's some sharing that can be done there that would be helpful on all sides. And, you know, they've done some very good projects have come out of that experience, which I think to share that back as well. And they've used culture as well.
Yes,
to do that, and the expressions and music, creativity, festivals. They did all that over the years. I know personally because I was involved in helping to bring confidence back to the community.
Yes.
So one of the things we will set up will be a joint meeting, and I think so. We really take that the psychosocial activities.
I'm back.
That's really important, because it's almost like when you know you're teaching adults in particular to take care of themselves so that they can take care of others, and you're using the mask in the airplane situation. It's similar, even though teachers are going back, and it's a thing about us as educators in Jamaica. We might be going through the worst, but we have some students who we know have potential. And sometimes even their parents don't see the potential in them, like we, the educators, see them.
Of course.
And we're gonna push for them to get over any hurdle to be the person God wants them to be. So if the teacher is not, and then quite a number of teachers have been dropping out.
Yeah.
I mean, just drop dead, as it were. Stress and mental all kind of mental illnesses affecting teachers. And with this on top of it, no, it's added stress to what was already there. And the Jamaica Teachers Association has been pushing for mental health to be something that we focus on, because maybe it's because it's stigma in Jamaica, where if Jamaicans, most Jamaicans here, mental health, you have a mental issue, no money mad.
Yeah.
So everybody thinks that somebody having a mental issue, mad somebody. Right, which is not so. And then if you can deal with the individual, it can be controlled. You can overcome it and go through normal life.
One last point before I ask Angela, because Angela's got a background in counselling and safeguarding.
Oh, good.
And it is a kind of a safeguarding question in terms of support for vulnerable young people, those with learning challenges. What's the situation relating to them? All
right, so the ministry has been putting out some efforts through some of its interventions, even before the hurricane struck. Since the hurricane has hit us, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure of what is happening. Yeah. But with us, from NEET, we have been reaching out to our students because we know them. Yeah. Every cohort of student that comes, we have a group with them, parents and children alike. So we use this medium to get, reach out to them, to ensure that, they know that we are here for them. And same thing for the parents, because if we can bring some amount of comfort and encouragement to the parents, having gone through the NEET program, they know that they too can help their children because they would have gone through the training.
Okay.
But I can get some additional information on that.
Yeah. When we speak again, I don't want you to burden yourself. But when we speak again, we can go through things.
Yeah. So I was only saying, though, Rudy, that because of the network that we have at NEET, it's easy to just reach out to our principals and the teachers and get this information. So if we have a follow-up, I should be able to see.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Jean. So Angela, then back to Wayne.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Jean. It's really, what you say is very, very true. When I was out in Jamaica in September, part of what we were doing was actually going into the schools and working with the students who were specifically identified as having potential problems, whether it be home related or work, school related. And those projects were supported by the Minister of Education. So we went into kind of 4 different schools, working with them, and did the same last year. So it is something that has been identified. But certainly for me, what I was acutely aware of is the impact on the teachers as well, and the fact that you're right, the teachers, they have a resilience because they're dealing with their own issues maybe, but they're still coming in every day and giving 100%. So I do feel that there is more to be done, especially now, because what you have now is the added trauma, and the trauma is something that, as Rudy said, it is far-reaching, and I don't think that we will actually see the real, the reality of the impact until further down the line. But we can't ignore it, and it's definitely something that needs to be done. And I wholeheartedly agree with the suggestion, Rudy, for having a platform for people to talk about it. Because one thing we don't do well enough is actually talk about how we're feeling. And I think for teachers, as well as the pupils, it's quite important.
Yeah, we will make that happen. So Wayne, thanks for that, Angela.
No problem.
Yes, when you talk about teaching, you're talking about what I've done, right?
Exactly.
So I've done it there, and I've done it here in the States. And let me tell you, there's no more resourceful teacher than a Jamaican teacher.
Yeah.
I've taught in Jamaica and I've taught in the US, and I can say that very proudly, that they're no more resourceful. But we're also, one of our big weakness, is we will sacrifice everything, including our life, for that student that we know if we just push, if we just get up and try to swim across the river to go teach him, and then we get washed away. That is the mentality of Jamaican teachers, because that is why we've stood out. And the thing is, having taught, one of the real good sense of keeping us in line and going is the feeling of support.
Yes.
Because we know what we signed up for. Every teacher knows they never signed up for a paycheck. You're doing this for the love of what you do and what you're going to do for these students. And so support, though, once you feel supported, it's almost like you're getting an extra paycheck. And so that is really important, that in our way, Rudy, having heard this from Miss, the names are all Miss Brown tonight, that we really need to, in whatever way we can, let their voices be heard. That's the best support we can do in media right now.
That's right.
That way, someone listening, because they know best what they need, whether it be laptops or notepads or just and then they can also say in this medium how we can present it too. How can your ministry support you through this? And if you were to get help, say from overseas, what would it look like? And they need to be able to come and say that themselves. So I really believe, Ms. Brown, yes, I know you already have 1,000 things to do, but we'll be happy to facilitate that kind of dialogue on our network.
Absolutely. And thanks for that, Wayne. The other thing, because we've got Keisha Hale in Kingston, again, up and down, using her own resources to support her primary school. So we've done work in the past with Keisha Hale, and this is very impressive as well. Also, Jean, I'm really pleased that we had this part of the conversation, because some of the other work that we're doing in the Caribbean as it relates to education. So we're talking about teacher training, teacher education, and now we should talk about teacher support. Teacher support is as important as teacher education and teacher training. Because historically, from a system point of view, we don't think about the teacher support. And as Wayne has said, teacher support is what the teachers say support is. not what we say from a system. Here's the
Right.
support you need.
Right.
Sorry.
It's about how you feel and,
Mhm.
you know,
Mm.
and the type of support that you're looking for in order that you can do the education and the teaching, you know. So, as I say, something good can come out of things that are not so good.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for that. That's going to be very helpful. So teacher support, we'll actually build a whole program behind those two words. Certainly will do.
Absolutely. In their own words, what
Yes.
does
Yes.
support look like?
Yeah.
And as Miss Angela said, you know, it's also an opportunity to just talk, just
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's how you feel.
Yeah. Getting it out is really important
Yeah.
because it's like a person who is grieving and you're doing it silently. I think it gets to you more than if you can share, just speak it out, getting it out.
It normalizes. It helps you to, it normalizes those feelings.
And there's an institutional question that's asked of people when there's pressure in organizations, and we say quite simply, what action needs to be taken to improve your feeling of well-being within this institution, organization, church even? What action needs to be taken to improve your feeling of well-being? And then the expectation is, having asked that question, those who have influence are actually going to do something about it, and then come back to the person or individuals and say, we heard what you have said. This is what we're doing, or this is what we're going to do about it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that.
Rudy, just before you're through, could I just ask Jean a question that I don't think and most groups have addressed at all? As a result of the Cat 5 hurricane, Melissa, what percentage of migration of persons from the devastated area to other parishes, and do you anticipate their return to these parishes?
I can't say the exact percentage. I know that some persons have moved. Some parents have actually sent their children out of Westmoreland into Kingston, where they have other relatives. Now, because the ministry has indicated that students can go to just about any high school they want to go, because we have maybe about 2 weeks to go into the school term, and then there will be the Christmas break. So when they resume full-time by January, then they will return to their schools. That would help them in several ways. One, they're not in the environment, seeing, and being reminded over and over of what took place, especially if they have lost everything at home. And also it helps the child to be connected in his or her preparation for the external exams, because Jamaica doesn't really have control per se. What the CXC, which is the equivalent to the O levels, folks in Barbados, they have given us some additional time based on the aftermath of the hurricane. So we have that plus. So sending them out, I have known of families who have sent children away to the States, because they thought that school would never ever reopen until maybe in the middle of next year. But that gives the children an opportunity to reconnect with families that are not in the areas. And I think they will return after everything has quieted down.
Okay, so Dean, thanks for that, Jean. Dean Ebanks, did you want to say a quick word before I hand back to Wayne?
Unmute, please.
Unmute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you very much, Brother Rudy, for this invitation. I can't help, admiring the passion of Jean. Winner City is the organization that we're a part of, and we found a formula to transform the so-called inner cities into winner city. We don't use words like ghetto, garrison, or inner city. It's a positive game, so to speak. What happened is that we were focusing on the so-called ghettos, garrison, inner city, but then we realized recently that the real winners are the elementary kids, the kids you are talking about. Those are the ones we're planning to connect with. I've been involved in a few schools and giving them some stuff and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited. Thanks again, Rudy. You always bring me into these, good opportunities. So we'll talk some more, Sister Jean, right? I have Huber Harris, Lester Lewis, who is a recording artist. Got me think for me, and some very great songs and well, Sharon is gone. One other person was there, but Lester Lewis and Mr. Hibbert Harris, thank you very much for coming on. All right, so Butter is what I call Harris. So I'm going to ask Butter. He's a Rasta man, and that's what makes it very interesting. Winner City is more humanitarian than anything else. So just about 1 minute, Butter. Is this possible? Oh, can't mute.
Just very
Are you
quickly,
hearing me?
please.
Oh, yes, we can hear you now, Butter.
Are you hearing me?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
man, greetings and give thanks to be a part of what is going on. I came on late, however, just listening to what you're saying, I really give thanks, give thanks for the effort, because as you know, we have been through the storm, and a lot of people right now is really nowhere. Have to start life all over again.
Yeah.
So right now, to be honest with you, I'm only hoping that the people who are in real need really get their support, and that no partiality, no bias will come into this, because when people are in need, they are just in need. So I'm grateful for what all of you have really been doing, and give thanks again for the invitation. And in going forward, I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay, and Brother Lester,
let me
I'm
just
Thank you.
okay,
just 1 minute, Brother
quick
Lester.
quick word.
1 minute, yes.
Quick word, Lester, before we go back.
Who you are, quickly.
Greetings to you. Is his name Wayne?
Yes, hi,
Yeah.
Lester.
Yeah. Wayne, yeah, nice to meet you and the rest of the panel. And I want to thank my brother Ibans for calling me. I nearly just said I didn't want to come on or do anything, but what I'm hearing is very interesting. And Jamaica, Lester Lewis is a man that I could live anywhere in the world, but I decided to live in Jamaica because I believe that something good will come out of Jamaica.
That's right.
So I'm gonna sing a song, and then we can meet another time, right? Then this song is dedicated to everyone on the panel, and also to Jamaica and the
I'm
world.
sorry, Brother Lester, can you be very short? I'm barging into their program. He's really Dr. Lester Lewis, and he has done a lot of
don't
songs,
let me feel like that.
Let
me feel. Hold on, let me feel welcome. Yeah, let me feel welcome.
No
yeah. Better place, a better place. The whole wide world is bound to be a better place. A better place. A better place. Whole universe is bound to be a better place. Starting with you. starting with me. Starting, yeah, starting with me. Open up your eyes. Why can't you see we're no longer bound with chains of slavery? The right choices that we make each and every day open up the way for a brighter day. That's how I know the world will be a better place. Starting with you, starting with me, starting with you, yeah. Starting with me. It's time to be nice, and it's time to be sweet and better the street. It's time to be bold, and it's time to be strong. That the rich help the poor, that the strong help the weak. That's how I know the world will be a better place. Starting with you, yeah. Starting with me. The family must be restored. The nation must be renewed, yeah. The hungry must be fed. The naked must be clothed. So I know the world is starting with you. Starting with me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
And Wayne, I'd like to go back to you, and then we can close the show.
Yes, and I'll say shout out to Lester Lewis on that song from 2003, I believe, still pertinent today. Thank you, A Better Place. All right. I want to say a big shout out to you, Rudy, for really being the coordinator of this very historic broadcast. I applaud your guests, Ms. Clark, Ms. Brown, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Banks, Mr. Johnson, Miss Bev Johnson, and we're going to talk again. And shout out to Russ Harris. Thank you, guys. I truly appreciate everything I heard tonight. It's very encouraging. It's very uplifting. It's the beginning of something that I see us doing more. So the Wayne Hall Show is happy to have tuned in tonight and streamed this live to our audience. And just, Rudy, again, man, shout out and thanks for all you do. And thank you to everyone who took the time tonight.
Fresh FM Radio London and the Wayne Hall Show in collaboration. Hurricane Melissa Impact Support, Recover, Rebuild, Renewal. And supported by Fit FM 96.7 Jamaica. Linkage Radio 101.5 FM New York. Clark TV Network. EnergyRadio1.com. IslandWorldwide.com. Hype FM Radio. Windrush Anchor Heritage Education Program. TAPTAP Send UK Jamaica. RAFFA International Development Agency. JLB International Shipping and Logistics.
Thank you and good night all.
Thank you, Sir Rudy. Take care, everyone.
Thanks. Good
Take care.
night.